Aya, Max Myaamia. Hello, my name is Max. This is my Myaamia Senior Project, and the topic that I chose to study was Myaamia aesthetics. So in this presentation, what I will be covering, I'll give you more of an introduction to myself, share some of my experiences here at Miami, and then I will discuss why I chose Miami. After that, I will share with you what I've learned in the Heritage Program. And then after those topics, I will get into the project itself. So I will begin with reviewing the research project, and then I will talk about what I've learned from the project, some reflections, and finally I will discuss some of the deliverables that I've made. So regarding my time here at Miami, I split my time up into 4 different categories, kind of. The first one being academics. So I'm a marketing major and a graphic design minor. And a important experience regarding my academic career here was my opportunity to study abroad for a semester in Barcelona, Spain. The second category that I split my time up into was Delta Sigma Pi, which is a professional business fraternity through the Farmer School of Business. And through DSIG, I got the chance to meet mentors and lifelong best friends through the various events that we held. Those were roommates, things like that. The third are 2 organizations on campus. The first one being called Muse Management, and the second one being the Miami Student Magazine. So for Muse Management, I was executive graphic designer for 2 seasons, and for the Miami Student Magazine, I was design team lead for 2 years. And this was a way to really practice some of my graphic design skills. And then the fourth and final category that I split my time up into, of course, is the Myaamia Heritage Program. And 2 things that I like to talk about regarding my time in the Myaamia Heritage Program were first being I was a camp counselor for Ewan Zapata and Sakachueta for 2 summers back-to-back while I was here. And we also started a broomball team out of some of the students here on campus in the Heritage Program. And we did that for 3 seasons. So the following pictures are some of those people that I was talking about in the previous slide. So they are mentors that I've met through my various experiences here at Miami, best friends, roommates, lifelong friends, just very important people, people who have impacted me. So why I chose Miami? 2 reasons. The first being my older brother, Ryan, who is pictured on the right, and also the Heritage Program, of course. So after seeing the experiences that my big brother Ryan had here, I knew that I wanted to have the same sort of story. And so through him, I also got to learn a lot about the Heritage Program. So I saw this as an opportunity to learn more about my Myaamia identity, being able to learn through the Heritage Program. The Heritage Program has affected me in many different ways, really. But after reflecting on it, I picked 2 of those things that really stood out to how the Heritage Program has sculpted my time here at Miami. So the first is it has really given me a family on campus. In it, I have found a group of people that are focused on my learning about myself and my Myaamia identity. The community of learners continues to push me every time we gather, and that's something that I really appreciate. And secondly, it has really helped to strengthen my Myaamia identity. It's taught me, the biggest lesson that it has taught me is that it doesn't matter the amount of knowledge that you have of your heritage at the start of learning about that heritage, but if you are part of that community that you're beginning to learn about in any way, you are 100% part of the community. And that's one of the biggest lessons that the Heritage Program has taught me. So now I'm going to begin talking about my final project itself. As I said before, the topic is Myaamia aesthetics. So the subcategories within this next section of my presentation are I'm gonna discuss the topic more. I'm gonna discuss my learning of the topic, the process that I've gone through to create what I've created and the deliverable itself. So the path to figuring out what I wanted to focus my study on was really rooted in my interest in design. So as I said, I'm a graphic design minor here at Miami, and design is something that I'm very passionate about. So I remember my first exposure to the term Myaamia aesthetics. And it's really what grabbed my attention the most when I first began learning about my Myaamia identity. And after lots of iteration, trying to decide how would be the best way to express this, I realized I wanted to provide a Myaamia aesthetic style guide to the Myaamia Center for Future classes. So a deliverable that could be given to students who were also interested in the same kinds of things that I was very interested in while I was studying here. Aesthetics were the first one being language education. So the first idea that I had was to create a comprehensive language program for students that have graduated from the Heritage Program. And this would have materialized into some sort of YouTube tutorial, like video tutorial lessons. And the second one being apparel design. So the other idea that I considered was to design a line of apparel that could be sold to Myaamia students on campus and to other Myaamiake. And the designs would be based off the study of Myaamia aesthetics throughout the semester. But after landing on Myaamia aesthetics, I decided the goal of the study, which as a design student, I was interested in and focused my study on the topic of logos, symbols, typography, colors, and arrangement in Myaamia art. So the goal of my project was to find trends between mediums of art, examples being ribbon work, book art, fine art, or graphic design. There are lots of other areas as well. Those are just a few that I had at the top of my head, and try to cohesively present them in the form of a magazine. My biggest takeaway so far from my final project is the intention of design used by Myaamia artists. So through discussions with Julie and other tribe members, I've learned that specific elements used visually in Myaamia graphics have much deeper intention than what is really shown. There's meaning behind the color used, the type used, the space and placement of the various symbols used, etc. These different levels of meaning have given me a better sense and a deeper respect for Myaamia aesthetics. So as far as the resources needed to begin my project, the first thing that I needed to do was begin gathering contacts of Myaamia artists throughout the community. So I first went to George and Kara, and we began assembling a list of different people that I could reach out to interview. And after that, I began a working list of pieces of art and Myaamia graphics within the community as well. And we began pulling these different things together to look at them, and I wanted them to be featured in the deliverable, but it was difficult for me to decide what I would use in the final. So after that, I began asking various artists in the community to talk about their specific works as a way to kind of help clarify which ones I wanted to use in the final. So what is complete so far? What is done of my senior project are the interviews. I spent a lot of time creating a sufficient interview protocol that I hoped would gather useful information from the interviewees. And after finishing the interview protocols, I began interviewing various artists in the community. So to the right is a section of the interview protocol, which is the questionnaire that I was asking interviewees. And I spent a lot of time on the interview protocol itself because I really just wanted to get, I valued that time developing it in a way that I would gather valuable information as opposed to quickly moving through the interviews themselves. And finally, what is left of the project? So to complete my project, I need to synthesize the transcribed interviews that I mentioned before with the Myaamia graphics together in the form of a magazine. So from there, I would like to work with George and Kara to make the magazine ready for publication in some way. But the next step is to begin the visuals for that magazine and the type content for it as well. After graduation, as far as the deliverable goes, I plan to let the center use it for future classes when Myaamia aesthetics is discussed. So I would really like to work with the center to develop this further, because I want it to be tailored to the Myaamia Heritage Course program, so that other students can use it in the future as well. So this slide is a mock-up of what the cover of the magazine would look like. And on the previous slides, those were also mock-ups of what different sections of the magazine would look like. Newe for sticking around if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You could probably get my email from George or Kara. Or if you have any feedback or ideas, also please reach out to me. Newe, Shaye.